This is the Sessions with Hunna podcast, brought to you by creative producer and independent artist, True Hunna. Hey True, what's the kiki?
The kiki is I got a seat at the table. Oh, get in on this. Rip me out the plastic. This is episode 2.
Rip me out the plastic, bitch. 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 Rip me out the plastic. Rip me out the plastic. Rip me out the plastic. That Sessions with Hunna is back. Hey, listen. Pull up a seat at the table, get a mug in your hand. Fuck what you watching on cable, grab a hold of your man. Tonight, Miss PJ came out to play. She representing for the back in the day. Give it up for Miss PJ. Miss PJ. She got a seat at the table. She got a mug in her hand. She got a seat at the table, got a mug in her hand. To give it up for Miss PJ. Miss PJ. Miss PJ. Miss PJ. Get ready for a lively discussion and captivating recap. Baby, pull up your seat to the table. Welcome to the Hunna house. There's more in store. Sit down.
So firstly, I would like to thank Miss PJ for coming on the show with me tonight. This is episode 2 of Sessions with Hunna, and we are recapping the BET Awards. Hey, Miss PJ.
Hey there, how you doing?
I'm up. I got my coffee on hand. I got French vanilla and caramel on hand.
Yes, and I have some white chocolate raspberry honey from Chobani and some coffee.
I don't know what the brand of mine is, but it looked like it said Barissimo. Barissimo. You ever heard of that?
Barissimo is Bellissimo. Whatever it is, good. It sounds good.
It's good. Okay. So, I'm glad to have you on the podcast with me for one. Thank you. I know you have. You're welcome. And I chose you specifically for this episode because I know that you have a strong connection to the hip hop era, and the BET Awards that just aired this past Sunday gave tribute and honor to 50 years of hip hop. Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be cool being that new school and old school was in the room, and we entitled this a seat at the table.
Yeah.
So we have our seat at the table as our audience and as viewers. So I wanted to invite you on just to get your opinion on what you thought overall about the show, and so we'll go through a couple of things together.
Okay, so I think what I would like to start out by saying is I want to give kudos to BET for this huge undertaking. Now, everybody who knows hip hop knows that this is the 50th year. Networks have done a great job of telling the world it's the 50 years of hip hop, right? And I really think BET was had a huge challenge meeting our expectations on what that could be. They gave thought and consideration to not only cultural cues, but to cities around, grouping of cities around hip hop. They did tributes, they did all the things, and it was an award show. So I think they had a tall order ahead of them now. So I want to give them a shout out for trying their best to capture it all. With that said, now, I would also say that it was so much that it was so saturated with overwhelming things that evoke emotions from those who grew up in the hip hop era, those who were born into it, all these things that, it's almost like if you didn't record it so you could watch it several times over, you probably missed some things. And so would the remedy have been do a part 1, part 2, part 3, like these reunion shows that we see on TV now? Don't know. Should it have been longer, right? An award show so that we could really just take it all in. And then if there was an emotional component or two, which there were, which I'm sure we'll talk about, you didn't even have enough time to feel it fully So it was just so much, but I'm still thankful that they did it. They did the best they could do with all of the artists, the heavy hitters that showed up. And, you know, let's just talk about what we saw.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the fact that, well, first off, I want to start with my outfit, because I know that is the number one thing that on my side that people can see. I do a great value version to express my whole mood of anything that I watched on TV and what I'm giving at home as a viewer if I had just anything in my house. And of course, I chose to do a Family Dollar bag as a wife beater because I saw Miss Lotto do it as a outfit with the thank you being, well, hers was saying brand new, which was her rip me out the plastic. So that was kind of like the theme of this show a little bit too. But we didn't have a host this year for the show at all. Everything kicked off with just performances and through the cueing of the DJs. So it was like I picked up that, you know, there was not a dramatic introduction or anything like that for this, or, you know, it was just a different culture instantly when you saw it on screen. It looked like it was like a kickback. And you know, of course we saw a lot of artists and things like that, but who did not get an invitation to the cookout was somebody should have given them a pass at the door to get in. Okay. Because we saw a lot of people, and kudos to everybody that performed. I really enjoyed that was the best part of the show for me, was the performances. I think that made up for a lot of the lack thereof of, you know, anything else that didn't work out. Yeah, but
like little technical things or whatever.
But it was some people that I'm sure you can help me with, and I can add on to, and we could just, you know, go back and forth and just mention who would be. Well, firstly, since I brought it up, I'll say I wanted to see Eve for the hip hop performances tribute. You know, I really could appreciate seeing Eve, and it was so many you couldn't get them all, but she was one I would have loved to have seen. And maybe because she could have endorsed Gwen Stefani to come.
Yeah, because okay, so let's talk about that part, the who was missing, kind of, or, you know, I'm gonna put aside contractual obligations and whether or not someone performed at another award show and all that behind the scenes business stuff. I'm just saying, if I could curate my own who should have been there, let's just start. Let's start.
I'm excited.
I needed to see Method Man at that awards. Now, I saw Redman and he did his thing and it was great. You could hear it from the crowd. They were happy to see him. All the things. But Redman without Method Man, you just can't. I mean, it's
like Tia with no Tamara, honey.
Come on, you just can't do that to us. So I missed him tremendously, and I don't care what the backdrop, I don't care. I wanted to see him, and he's looking great and doing great things. It would have just been such a great thing. Now he's won. You know, like some of the legends that we know of, the LL Cool J's, you know, Mary J wasn't there, Salt and Pepper wasn't there. I mean, it's just certain ones that you just expect to see when you hear a tribute to hip hop, blah, blah, blah. So there were too many. We had even, I think you and I had kind of talked about some others that if you want to tee those up. But for me, you know, like Ludacris, for instance, like, come on now. It's just, you know, that's kind of my era, right? But, you know, Mos Def, people like that. I mean, I know Diddy's son was there. I guess Sean, I don't know which son, but which, you know, he looked nice and everything. But yeah, those are just ones. And I will say this, if you're talking about features and you're talking about artists who collaborated with a lot of hip hop artists, I think Usher and Chris Brown should have been coming right to the cookout, right there, because they had so many collaborations that I would have loved to at least, you know, give a nod to them. So I'll keep it right there.
Do you think that they really, because, you know, hip hop is such a hard category to fight for nowadays when it comes to accrediting artists for what type of genre they're going for. But you know, they classify artists as based on their fans. And Chris Brown, I feel like Chris Brown and Usher wasn't on a set of it, even though we would have wanted to see them. I feel like we didn't because they refer to them as R&B artists. Is that crazy? But but you know how they still make hip hop songs and came out as that. I guess they go by what we were supposed to know them by. We was never supposed to get to know Chris Brown for being hood and hip hop. Right. We looked at him as a love song king. Right. And we kind of still do. So when we see him do, and that's the only reason why certain rooms he's not able to be honored and walk. But you know, because wasn't at some point he wasn't able to come and do a tribute to someone? Was that Chris?
Chris was invited to perform, I think it was a Michael Jackson tribute, but then because they changed the platform for the show overall, allegedly, they, you know, kind of informed him that his performance would not fit. So they told him he wouldn't be performing, and that was a missed opportunity. I mean, somehow, some way, I just hope that he gets an opportunity to really perform what he had really put a lot of time and effort with his team, his dance team and all that. It was wonderful. So I do agree with you that while they were categorized in another genre, I mean, everybody and their mama was performing, and I mean, you know, everybody just saying a nod.
The cookout.
You know? Yeah, just like, I mean, they could have been flipping burgers, you know what I'm saying, to put some barbecue sauce on some chicken, but they weren't at the cookout? No. So yeah, that was just an example.
I think the theme of this year's was the cookout. Like, everything pretty much gave the cookout, because you know, at the cookout, there's nobody necessarily serving food, doing anything. They tell you to go for what you know. They may have somebody grilling up the stuff, but they not about to fix you a plate. You just got to bring your own self to the table. So, like, I think the ones who didn't get it invited to the table probably had either other things to do, or, you know, they just didn't get an invite to the table.
Yeah, and see, I'm not even going to talk about, like, other obligations that they had. I'm just saying, if I had my way, right, programmatically, they would have been there somehow, even just sitting in the audience. I would have wanted them to be there to know that they were a part of the movement in a lot of ways. And we'll talk about Busta later, but I mean, I'm sure, but for him to say he invented, you know, or pioneered the feature, they are feature artists. So, I mean, if he spoke to it, then why not have everybody? But you couldn't have everybody. But Lord knows they tried. They tried to have everybody.
They did.
Yeah.
One person that I asked, did we since I had mentioned Eve, did we mention Lil' Kim? Where was she at?
Lil' Kim wasn't there. No, we didn't mention her, but she is another iconic figure in the hip hop history books that I'm just surprised, you know, and mind you, you know, it could be 1,000 reasons, but I just missed her. I just missed seeing.
Yeah, and I also would want to just say I'm not upset at a lot of people who didn't come, because most people who didn't come are moms and dads of young kids. So I would imagine, you know, not only if some people can get an invite, but if somebody can't keep the kids that can't come to the adult cookout, you know, they can't come either. And that's what, you know, people got to separate their life from the, you know, the fab Hollywood, you know, BET life. But yes, they should definitely, do you think they should have a part 2 for the sick and, not the sick and shut in, Lord have mercy. I'm going to take a sip of coffee for the sick and shut in tonight.
I wonder if there had been similar to docuseries where you have parts 1, 2, 3, etc. I just wonder, I don't know if you could have done that live and it would have had a certain feel, or recorded and it had a certain feel, but it just seems like it was so many heavy hitters in that room that you really wish that you could sit with it instead of hearing like 20 seconds of a snippet of their, you know, performance. It felt like a concert, like a festival concert that you would go to. That's what it felt like. and it was exciting to see who were they going to bring out on the stage next. But then you missed hearing a little bit more. You just wanted a little bit more of certain artists who, you know, really paved the way. So, I mean, but they did the best they could. I'm not even knocking. I don't envy the team that had to put that together, because I'm sure they heard it from all angles. But what they delivered for us, people are still talking about it. So that speaks to, they put their hearts into it to try to do the best show that they could for us.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is what I will do. I do a little brief break for us real quick, and then we'll recap, and we'll come back, and then we'll get into talking about the DJs that we wanted to see, since we seen a select few of DJs that are iconic in the industry.
Okay.
On every episode of Sessions with Hunna, we give our flowers respectfully. This mini segment of our show is called Profile of the Week. Each and every show, a new person is recognized for just being a dope, smart, and clever individual, whether it be for an insightful post, an alluring photo, or just a general respectful mention. The second episode's Profile of the Week goes to Demetrius Roberts. This is one of Detroit's finest fashion designers. He's the owner of Perspective Brand, a unique market that is significant because of its ability to incorporate a signature rope with denim. He recently hosted an event, Detroit's Fashion Diversity, this past April, that featured elegant, exclusive, and sophisticated aesthetics. Sessions with Hunna would like to say congratulations on your future endeavors and the success to come. You are commended for your hard work, your perseverance, and your inspiration to people like myself building platforms. Very, very proud of you. Okay, so welcome back. We were just talking, me and Miss Pjay was just talking, you guys, about how we feel like, us it's 1:57 a.m. We night owls, and we got our coffee on hand, like, grown folks, and it feels like we're on a show like the Fox Soul TGIF with what's his name, Funky Dineva, Claudia Jordan, and you would be Miss Claudia Jordan. I would be. Yes. Who am I?
I don't know if you a hybrid between Al and Funky, but I can see the perspective coming from both sides, right? And Claudia Jordan, with no relation, but she is like the friend in my head, because she cracks me all the way up. How she tries to hold it in and throw shade, because I love some dry shade at it. And I just have to give a shout out, if she ever watches this video, Claudia, keep doing what you're doing, honey, because we love it. Jordan, and we love Al and Funky as well. They give very intelligent takes on anything that they talk about. I just love it.
Yes, they do. Shout out to all of you. We really do love you over here.
Yes.
All right, so let's get back into our spin. Speaking of spin, you know there were a lot of DJs. We mentioned earlier how the DJs replaced the hosting for the first time in history for BET Awards.
Yeah.
Which Kid Capri was like one of the main. He was in charge of the girls. The entire night. He was in charge of the girls. But what other DJs do you think we should have saw a little spread it out? Who?
Yeah. Recognizing that some of the artists brought their featured resident DJs, right? We know that. But, for instance, where in the world was Jazzy Jeff? I don't care what was going on with Will, you know what I mean, and all the things and all the PR things. What I'm saying is Jazzy Jeff is still being hired regularly by folk for their events, and he shows up. He's one of the hip hop legends as well, regardless of whether the rap was clean versus kind of racy. The point is, he's a fixture. I missed him tremendously. Would have loved to have seen him. My girl, Spinderella. Like, come on now. How can you talk about 50 years of hip hop and not have Spin up there, at least in the audience or something, even if contractually they couldn't have shown up? Grandmaster Flash, right? Because listen, Listen,
Grandmaster Flash.
Right? He's the one who does the things. Let me tell you something. You talk about skills. I would have loved to have seen his face. Don't know where he was. And then I'm shocked that DJ Khaled, even if it was something, he did another gig and couldn't come. I hate to keep saying that, but I'm hoping that was the reason, because to exclude the DJs I just mentioned, it's just, there was a void there. I just have to say. Yeah.
DJ Khaled, I didn't even know DJ Khaled was a DJ. I always thought he was just, the best and like a pop-up and a producer that walked past the screen. I always say I've never seen him spin no record in his life. He's just been a market for his voice, like Fat, what's that dude named Fat, I ain't gonna say his name, but he be on all the remixes and stuff like that. People know who I'm talking about.
I can't remember.
But did we mention DJ Cool?
DJ Cool, no, and that's another one that as many times. I think you and I were redoing some of the lyrics with that when they hollering about the females and the males, and
if you got real hair, real fingernails, and you don't need no man to take care of such and such and such, and then he was pitting the men against the women on the other one. It was like if you don't need no
man. I mean, let me tell you, if that had been said at that awards, everybody in that room would have been up out of their seats. You hear me? And I would have been one. So it's just certain iconic lyrics or just statements or shout outs that are said to get audience engagement and things like that. If they had just done that one thing, it would have been over. But yeah, so I just kind of missed certain DJs that we have grown accustomed in the culture to expect to see, So.
Exactly. So let's take a sip of coffee for all the sleep DJs that we didn't see at the BET Awards who didn't get a seat at the table.
Bless your hearts. We missed you. If you all are hearing us now, we really missed you, and maybe there'll be another opportunity or celebration that we can maybe have a whole DJ battle moment, awards, something, where all of y'all can show up and do your thing. How about that?
You know what DJ Khaled said when they asked him which awards would he be doing next? Mm-hmm. He said another one. I had to be corny real quick to close that out, because that's all I ever heard DJ Khaled say. Can we talk about these messy outfits and the fashion that was given at the BET Cookout Awards? Nah. Can we talk about the lack of, I feel like, as well as, because the writers and things was on strike. That's hence why they didn't have a host for the show. But it looked like they didn't have any stylists either.
I think the stylists were on strike too. I got to chime in on that. Let me just say this now. I thought that, there were some glimpses of styling expertise in the room, right? But for the most part, it just looks like, can I be frank? Can I just, now.
You can go in. Because this is what we do. We the viewers, we deserve to have every opinion. This video is only for opinion and research. Okay? The opinions, we are all entitled to them. Hello?
Okay. So let me weigh in. Now, I commend any woman who is trying to keep themselves together, glam up, do the things, be fashionable. But there were some ensembles and garments on that red carpet that were just atrocious, and you should not have to display yourself in that way that you did, a lot of y'all, and I mean a lot of y'all, to gain some sort of mention on social media or some sort of look, or the Twitterverse going off, or whatever it is you're looking for. Honeys, my honeys, that is not the way to do it. It's just not the way to do it. No, I could call some names. I could. But you know who you are. You know exactly who you are, and I'm gonna just tell you right now. Don't you ever, and you know who I'm talking to. Those of you who just did too much.
Just did too much. Oh, can I call it?
Please.
So if they just did too much, you think if I had to say with your eyes and your third and fourth and fifth one too, you did not like Jess Hilarious's outfit?
Can I tell you that I think she is so funny and so clever and so talented, and yes, she is so beautiful that I have to say I was utterly shocked at her selection, because she doesn't have to do that to be noticed already. And I think that her stylist, whoever it was, or if she was her own stylist that night, you did the essence of your beauty, you did a disservice, because you don't have to do that, sweetheart, in order to be seen and be remembered. You are gorgeous. Please know that. And please, for the love of God and all that is right in this world, please do not ever try that again, Miss Lady. And I'm saying this with love, okay? Don't do it no more. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I want to piggyback off of the fact that I believe that Jess Hilarious got that outfit, or not outfit, it was a dress, but geez, it looked like she had on that the material, but it looked very boutique-ish.
And by that you mean what?
Like boutiques don't care what color of your skin tone is. They don't care if you a whole pecan brown. They'll still give you some what's that material called? I guess flesh tone. So
kind of whatever's on the rack per se, without giving thought to our melanin.
The melanated version of the dress. You don't see a lot of melanated versions of the dress, so when the makeup is not matching the light of the night, it's giving different shades of nude.
Shades of nude.
No shade intended.
No shade of nude. But okay.
I also want to say that you want to let's take a sip, because I gotta say something about this.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this new artist named Doechii. She showed up to the event, and I was going to say that, you know, comedians were never really expected to have to look great in the eyes of red carpet, you know, paparazzi cameras or whatever. They could have an excuse to look as foolish or wild as they want to. So that's the dignity we'll give, the little grace we'll give Jess Hilarious.
Yes, and I want to give her grace because I love her, but go ahead.
But I was going to say, I think if her intention was to be beautiful this night, it wasn't it. But I also, she's a pretty girl. It's never going to take away from, you know, how we think she's beautiful overall. Yeah. She's a beautiful girl, but girls like some more who were comedians and things like that, I almost never seen them look not the part, no, regardless of what era it was. And you don't see these type of comedians no more. So the new school, they look at these new people as how we looked at those people. But you have people who, even on the night of the BET Awards, who gave some form of, I guess, homage to people like Fantasia or some more, because Doechii's outfit that she had on, which I'm actually going to show in the program, she had this short black cut, if you see, and this I don't know what that material is hanging on the front. I don't know if that's tissue paper or the streams that you hang up at a birthday party. But it was very cheap and thrown together, and it looks identical to the outfit that Fantasia was late to the audition that Fantasia was late in what, 2004. I think it paid homage to old Fantasia, like old Fantasia or old some more. So maybe tonight that the theme was be your favorite comedian, or show your favorite moment in history or something like that. You would have thought they was all bringing just like their own flavor of homage to somebody. Mm-hmm. We just had to figure out who at home because there was a lot of things at the building.
Okay, well, let's go with that.
Yes.
I'll go with it. I'm going to go with it. Okay.
So I mentioned Doechie's outfit. I'm going to be honest. Doechie is too beautiful of a girl for this foolishness that she pulled this night with this outfit. But kudos to her for her performance because she performed very well. And I think she's a very talented artist. Everybody that we mentioned tonight, we showing love to as if they was our first, second, or third cousins.
That's right.
So with that being said, you saw Trick Daddy?
Can I talk about, okay, because I was on the females, but can I just talk about Trick Daddy for just a minute?
I thought he looked like Florida Evans. So we're going to call him a female tonight. She looked a mess, but
I'm going to tell you what I think. He looked like, now wait a minute, let me lead with love and say, I would be lying if I said I didn't turn up sometimes to some old Trick Daddy songs. Now, let's be clear, okay? That's not what I want to talk about, though. I don't want to talk about that. Well, what I want to talk about is why he looked like he left the greens cooking at his house, and he done ran up on the stage and did his 10 seconds. Then he had to run back in the car and turn the stove off because he left them greens on. That's what he looked like, and I'm gonna need him to stop.
He was
doing
it.
He just
looked like he was greased up.
Yes,
he looked like he was very greasy. Because
he had just fried some fat back for them greens, and he was wiping his face, and he was greasy. I mean, come on, Trick Daddy. Don't do that.
I thought he smelled like a lot of soul that night.
He was ham hocks and everything. He was all the things. Fat back, ham hocks, pot of greens, pot liquor. He was all of that and ran back to his house and finished cooking the video, his food show. Now, I'm going to tell you, Trick, don't do that.
I bet you he had he probably had a, what you call it outside that you sell food in, a food truck or something. He probably had that parked outside.
He clearly has some wings and things out there.
Wings, chicken wings, meatballs. He was probably giving one of those plates that
he was with the mac and cheese and the whatnot. Yes, he did, and he can cook clear. I mean, from what I can see on his segments, because I do watch them. See, this is what I'm saying. I love the people I'm talking about. I follow them like I know. You know what I mean? But this was an award show. This was the 50-year hip hop thing. Stop it. You knew that you were representing Miami. Stop it. You knew Trina, whoever was, right, was going to go up there and do the things and look the part. Don't do that. You were looking greasy. Stop it.
Now Trick, go over there and give me another wine cooler.
That part. Yes.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're going to get into a little bit more of these outfits and some more tea, or should we say a little bit more black coffee, French vanilla.
How about that?
We'll be right back. We asked the Hunna House to give some insight on the BET Awards, enclosing their most favorite part of the show and their least favorite. Here were some of my favorite responses from Isaiah Brown, Jeffrey Jermaine Jackson, Seven Taylor, and Justice Rain.
I did watch the BET Awards. It was okay. I didn't really care for it, but Patti LaBelle was horrible. OMG. How do you not know the words to Simply the Best?
And then what got me was, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Girl, you ain't trying, girl. You a diva. Just put it like it is. Girl, you didn't like her. You didn't want to learn her music. Only music that you want to learn is your own. When have y'all ever seen Patti do a tribute to anybody?
This year's BET Awards. What a tragic mess. No, it wasn't a hot mess. But it was just a little mess. But, that's why I love the BET Awards, because you never know what you're going to get. Tina Turner bowed down from heaven and said simply a mess. And I'm referring to Miss Patti LaBelle. She tried, y'all. She tried, but it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. But I love her. Patti can sing her ass off, but she just messed up the Tina Turner tribute. But that was the worst part. And I felt like Patty should have kind of studied a little bit more if she would have, if she known that she was going to perform for Miss Tina. You can't mess up Tina, okay? Tina is a queen, and she will be forever missed. And I feel like she should do the tribute again. And I think my favorite part had to be the Busta Rhymes Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, Busta Rhymes has been in the game for a minute, and I love all his music. He is forever a legend, and I think that he will forever live in the music world. You know, his lyrics are different, he's catchy, you know, and he is the shit. So those are my two favorite. No, that was my one favorite highlight, and the other was a mess, but I still love Patty. But Patty, get it together. Honey, you've been in the game too long, okay? Love y'all.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Seven Taylor, and I did watch the BET Awards. I'm happy that I guess it's now more black owned, or is black owned. We haven't been controlling our own narrative in a long time. Patti LaBelle, iconic, you know, she's up there, she's a mother of her own realm of music. I did not like her tribute though to Tina Turner. Tina Turner is someone that I truly, deeply consider such an absolute, the best type of artist that was so transparent and inspired me and so many other people. It was a lot going on this year. I hope that next year I be there, for one, but two, I hope that we can finally control our own creative narrative without someone always trying to insert their, I guess, control of what black talent truly looks like.
Okay, let me start playing. So I will say for the 2023 BET Awards, it wasn't terrible, and it was definitely a choice. However, I will say that my best moment, I have three and a half. Okay, so my first one is my mama Coco Jones winning the Best New Artist, because it's been deserved 4 years now, and I love seeing my baby shine. Tiana Taylor getting Video Director of the Year was absolutely fabulous, and that FaceTime to Mama was accurate, correct, and needed. And Angela Bassett winning Best Actress. The 3.5 comes in because I added SOS by SZA getting Album of the Year, or it won album something. All I know is Mama got an award for that gem of an album, but I'm only giving it a half because if they gave her the BET award and aren't gonna give her a Grammy, we gonna have a problem. In the name of Nicki. And speaking of, my worst moment, only one, is Miss Lottery Ticket, scratch off, whichever you want to take her by. She had no business winning a BET award when Ice Spice, Megan, even Belcalis, and my girl Nicki were there, because she has not charted nor had a sale since Big Energy by herself. But that's it. That's it. All in all, it was fabulous. But Lotto had no business winning, and that put a damper on my whole evening.
Y'all are a complete mess. Thank you guys so much for answering that question for me, because, you know, we can't be the only ones placing opinion on things. Other viewers have other opinions too. Let's get back into the show. All right, you guys, we are back after our little quick break. We went and refilled our cups with more coffee, and, you know, I'm going to turn this little mood marquee over here red, because we were going to talk about, when I think about the color red, I think about Coco Jones' dress. You know, we mentioned how a lot of people came not looking the part, but some people came looking decent to this awards, and we as much as that there was like some ratchet outfits and things that we did not agree with. Firstly, it was very skimpy dresses and outfits in the video. It was almost hoochie mama night. But some people came elegantly dressed like they knew it was going to be their night, and they was going to have the head table or sit at the center. But what did you think about Miss Coco Jones' outfit?
Leading with love. Let me just tell you, I watched the show, the Bel Air, honey. So that was really my first introduction. I didn't know who Coco Jones was. Okay, I'm just telling you. but I knew her as an actress. I did not know her as a music artist, right? So then when I heard about her music, wave that was building, I started to try to pay a little more attention to her. And so then I saw her do an interview with Tank and I forget his counterpart's name, but Tank has a podcast and he does he records it. And no, it was not Joe. It's the other guy. I can't. They have a duet. Light skin, wavy hair guy. Real laid back and reserved. I'm gonna think of his name, but they have a collabo podcast. They invited her to join the show one time, and I'm telling you, her interview was amazing. She was funny, clever. She was engaging them as if she had been in the game for years and years. She was polished. They gave her a lot of compliments on how just professional, and they enjoyed her video. They said, her interview, they said she was one of the best interviews that they've ever done. And so that just really endeared me to her to pay more attention. Now, fast forward to BET Awards. I thought that she was classy, that whoever is styling her really pays attention to the fact that she has a tall presence. I don't know exactly how tall she is, but she looks mighty tall. And they pay attention to her dimensions and what garments fit best on her. The only thing, because the red was good, she had a black ensemble, I think, on stage when she performed. Her makeup was wonderful. She gave a little leg on the side. You know what I mean? She was just giving, as she would say. And all I want them to do with a lot of the females in attendance, there is a style that's out right now where it's almost like like I call it duct tape. It looks like a fabric, the width, the height of a piece of duct tape, and they just put it across their chest. Now, I don't know where this is coming from, and I know that there are trends that come and go. I'm gonna need them to modify the height of that based on what you are giving in the front. Okay, because there was some folk who had under boob, side boob, up the boob, down. It was too much. I even saw people in the audience with this foolishness on. Even dresses where, because y'all, some of these companies do not realize that we can be curvaceous, as a culture. So they don't make the front bodice part big enough to cover us enough so that if we are moving and dancing, our body is moving with it. I just saw some real interesting things, but going back to Coco, I think she looked beautiful. This was her night and she owned it. And let me just tell you, she pulled every heartstring I got when she got up there, and she genuinely, this was probably her first award ever. And then in the category of greats that she was featured in, she won. It was so genuine. It touched my heart, and I'm so proud of her and happy for her. And there are a lot of young girls out there who see themselves in her, and it will inspire them to do what they are passionate about. So, I have nothing but rave reviews for that young lady, and I thought that was her night to shine, and she owned it.
She absolutely did. And to mention she won New Artist of the Year. That's actually a big accomplishment for someone who just really, I know she has other songs that she did, but that one song touched the hearts of a lot of people. Just that one song. And I think, she's the type of girl, if I never seen her again in the media or just, doing songs period, I would still be very happy and satisfied with her accomplishment of winning New Artist of the Year. So congratulations to Coco Jones for that beautiful I'm gonna say performance, because I didn't think the dress was beautiful at all. I really didn't like the dress. With love, with red to specifically represent love, and also red to represent spice, because I want to talk about Miss Ice Spice, Miss Isis, who showed up in, the red carpet with almost lingerie. I think I got very much so lingerie. Even on the last episode I did of Sessions with Hunna, she was a part of the Met Gala recap that I did, and I was saying how on there I was waiting for her to give me a little bit more princess titled type of fashion, and more that, since that's kind of like her title in the current era. And when I saw the lingerie outfit, it was giving maternity photo gown, glam, gender reveal. I don't know. It was just giving. I didn't know what to get out of it, but I think she's a beautiful girl. They make more market off of her hair color than they do I guess the fashion aspect of her and the music aspect. But she did have also a good performance that she did that night, along with Lil Uzi Vert. Now his outfit, we know that he has a endorsement from Louis Vuitton alongside with Pharrell and things like that. But not that they was ever super fashionable. They have always been what's the word I'm looking for? Eccentric. I didn't like his appearance that night. It kind of looked like he was selling weed or something, or just coming, he looked like he smelled like some Newports or something that night. I didn't get like a fresh feeling about, and not that he's ever been a fashion icon. I think the labels mean everything nowadays, but it's also what it looked like when you put it on, and not looking dusty. And I love Lil Uzi Vert, but I think he looks. I think JT, because I'm gonna mention her too. JT, him being with her is a great look for him, because JT's a beautiful girl. She's a pretty girl. She is from the hood. She does give him that hood dude trophy type of vibe or whatever. But I think she adds a little bit of the polish to him. But they were not seen too much beside each other that night, up until they had a scraffle about that night with the whole Ice Spice thing. So let's get into that tea about what happened. Do you even know about that?
I know what I saw on social media. I did not know a lot about those three artists, folk. Okay, because they're kind of I'm not the target market, clearly, for them. Clearly.
Yeah. That's what I said. Do the older people know about like the artists unless they're doing something chaotic in the media, or do you guys really know their music?
There are some young artists who strategically align themselves with, let's say, legends, because I think Busta even talked about that, how he's been taking some folk under his wing, or he'll give them a public nod and say, hey, I like this person, I like that person. That's branding, y'all. They doing it. They're doing it. I love it, right? And some of the tunes are appropriate enough for me to play in the spaces that I'm in, and I can gravitate toward it. There are others that are not as appropriate for me to listen to, say at work or whatever. So I look up and maybe hear it, or I hear, because I'm in education, right? So I hear the young folks repeating lyrics or saying something, and I might ask, who is that? So quite frankly, I had not heard maybe that Uzi Vert, Uzi, whatever his name is.
The Virgos.
The Virgos, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I kind of heard that name a little bit, but the other two, Icy Spice and whatever the things. The only thing I had heard recently was just some other artists and other analysts, if you will, who were saying she has a vibe, she has a look, she has a distinctive brand. She just has to be careful what she does with that, and I agree with that. She's a pretty girl, whatever. But let's keep in mind styling matters, and let's keep in mind that. Now let's go to the thing. Let's go to
So in this video that I'll show a little snippet of, basically the angle that I saw was apparently allegedly Natalie Nunn's angle, and it showed her saying you a goofy, you lame, I'm done with you. And she called him you effing bitch and threw the phone not once but twice at him. That's what I saw. And
that as well. And then I saw a piece where she was walking, I guess, down the aisle or back away from there or whatever. And then a third snippet I saw on social media was where the two of them, the guy and the young lady, were walking, let's say, with an entourage of people, assuming they're leaving the venue kind of thing. So that's all I saw.
Yeah, so she never gave a take or clear up of what actually happened. So, of course, when it got on the media due to Natalie Nunn's little messy self, it gave very much so the caption, JT should be on Baddies West or something like that. Because it was just, it was just something to get into. So that's one of the things that hit the surface of the internet after the awards, like literally maybe an hour after the awards was over, and I was totally in awe and shocked. So yeah, like it was, and I like to mention, since we were talking about looks, that JT's look that night was absolutely beautiful. I know I kind of got like, she was just almost half funeral at the top and prom at the bottom, but it was a very elegant look, or I don't know. I don't think anybody looked as elegant as she looked that night, because while I would expect her to be the one to dress as skimpy as everyone else did, she actually came with a little intention to have class.
I agree. I actually thought she looked adorable, and that was not hard to do in the midst of all the other ensemble foolishness that was going on, right? Even with that sifted out of it, I thought she looked adorable. She is a beautiful young lady, right? And she was carrying it in a classy way up until, and I say this with love, up until you went down there and peeped something that kind of got you upset. And then all of that work, all of that beauty, all of that essence, honey, it kind of went out the window when you gave someone that much power to take you out of your moment and element. I just wish that they had handled that matter somewhere else, because she looked such, you talk about trying to look like a princess, even though we could discuss the construction of the garment at another time, because but I'm just saying she looked so good that it kind of detracted from the look when that happened. And then if you're gonna do all that, this is sidebar, but if you're gonna do all those antics and throwing phones and cussing folk out and confronting folk and this and this, don't walk away with the person in tow. Don't walk away with them. Don't leave with them. If you're gonna do that, follow it up with, and I'm out. And I'm out if you're gonna do all that, because it confused me when you did all that, took away from your moment of looking classy and glamorous, and then you walking out with him, and for what reason? To continue to fuss him out, and then you gonna still be with him after all that? Girl, don't ever give anyone else that much power. And I'll put it on the table.
I think Miss JT was embarrassed and just didn't want to appear like she was being played, because the thing about it was, before anyone heard the song that he performed, he opened the show that night with a song quoting that someone was, she looked like Ice Spice. That was what the lyrics was.
Did she know about it?
Apparently she didn't.
How do we know? I would need to know. Can you call somebody and find out if she knew? Because if she knew, then that's even all the more reason to not look like it bothered you, or check him later. Now, she did check the right person, which was her man. Okay, because we women tend to try to go and attack the woman. She can only do what he allowed her to do. He was raggedy. He was messy. He was inappropriate. He was untimely. He should not have done that under any circumstances to this young lady, knowing that she was trying to carry it in a certain way. Yes, it was disrespectful, all the things. But when we address it is what I am having an issue with. that was not the time nor the place. She could have waited till they had gotten outside that building and let him have it in the same way. Might have been recorded even, but not to where this thing went viral because he did something ignorant. You know what I mean? So I'm just upset with him that he got her up that upset, but I'm really challenging her to not ever give anyone else that kind of control over her emotions.
You know, I want to mention that the one thing I am proud about in light of the situation is that she didn't take the anger out on Ice Spice, because while I wonder, do they know who they'll be sitting beside at the BET Awards? Because I feel like public relations is as important as that is the image. So it's like,
let me say this to you. If you have a team that knows the culture and is up on pop culture and does their research, right? They would have known to not do that because they would have had some underpinnings of insight, right? But I am suspecting that the team that put those seats together were looking at sales and looking at who's hot and let's put them up front and let's get the camera on them, when really they don't even understand what really could have jumped off up there.
Exactly, because I mean they put the people that were on front allegedly was all the people who had performed that night, and with Uzi opening the show and Ice Spice somewhere in the middle performing, I don't see how she ironically ended up beside him as well as the same night that drama happens because of them sitting beside each other and allegedly due to the lyrics of the song all in one night. We have never gotten any type of
put names on the chairs, and they definitely arrange it in a certain order. They definitely do that, but I just think somebody dropped the ball or missed the mark, one or the other, with that situation. And I really don't think I think they underestimated how upsetting that would be to, I forget her name.
To Ice Spice or JT?
JT.
Okay. Well, hopefully JT is free from that situation. We'll take another little quick break and then we'll wrap this conversation up. Then we'll talk about a little bit of the decent outfits before we talk about the tributes that were given to iconic people for the night of the BET Awards. We'll be right back.
The Sessions with Hunna podcast, brought to you by creative producer and independent artist True Hunna. Hey True, what's the kiki?
The kiki is I got new videos for you to watch on YouTube. Help my views out a little bit. All right, you guys, we're back. We are almost down to the end, the very tail end of our show. So far, everything we discussed was about the outfits and things, and we was on red still. So because the mood was still red, the way I conclude that is mentioning the artist Sexy Red, because she comes to mind next when I thought about the viral clip that went around. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there was a clip shown of her having a moment in the aisle. She has this song out called Pound Town, and Mama Pjay, I know you don't know nothing about Pound Town or where that's at or what city or state, but this St. Louis girl had her moment at the awards twerking when they played her song during the intermission. And Krishan Rock, pregnant Krishan Rock, I don't know if you know who she is or not.
Yes, we all know who she is. Okay.
So she did her big one and came and twerked her pregnant belly on Sexy Red, and the clip made me giggle because I saw the guy Bobby Jones, who has the gospel show program. He was in the audience and he looked over to his left and he saw that, and he looked scared, he looked confused. I got a key and a gag out of it because I was just like, is this a decent environment today in this era of hip hop for gospel people to be at the BET Awards, even though they are honoring gospel artists as well? What did you think about that video and that segment, him being there? Did you laugh?
Well, after I saw the clip on social media, because I didn't catch the moment when it actually happened. I know when people hear their song, they're gonna rise to that and get the crowd engaged. So I mean, I can understand that part. But Bobby Jones ain't got no business being at this. I know they invite him, and he does try to support. But it's on the one hand, you know, it makes him look like he got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You know what I'm saying? So he need to be careful. But I think he was a little.
Most do anyway in this industry.
Huh?
I said most do anyway in this industry.
Yeah, and he just seemed a little out of place. But he was not the only gospel artist, you know, there. So people had their own reasons for showing up. You know what I mean? But yeah. So
wait a minute. I think you're trying to spill a little bit more black coffee to us. You spilling out some more black coffee?
Well, you know, allegedly, you know, there is, you know, someone I just happened to listen to an interview on and some snippets some time ago that there was a gospel artist that when they were younger and whatnot, they had a crush on the Busta Rhymes, and who, lo and behold, was in that audience. Looking a little mesmerized when he got up there on the stage. But I ain't gonna call no names because, you know, I ain't one of the gossip. I try to be messy, but it did look like they were a little bit enthralled when he got up there on the stage looking all buttery and carrying on, living his best life.
Are you talking? I'm curious. So the only gospel artists I saw there was pretty much that was mentioned was Cora, which I didn't see her then, but I did see her name for an award, and Yolanda Adams. And I know you ain't talking about Miss I Open Up My Heart. Oh, you was talking about, okay, so so Yolanda Adams and Busta Rhymes?
I said nothing. I merely said allegedly that there was someone who had a crush on him. Now, if you trying to connect the dots and draw your own inferences, that is not in my control.
Well, may the black coffee guide you until you're sure. But allegedly, Busta Rhymes and Yolanda Adams was a thing.
I don't know if it was a thing for both, but it was sure enough a thing for one. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So speaking of Busta Rhymes, he was part of the tribute moment one of the tribute moments I wanted to get into. We just mentioned how great he looked, you know, being up there. Did you get a tearjerker? Did a tearjerker moment happen for you when he started crying? Because I was sitting beside my boyfriend and I just instantly started pouring out because I felt for him. He looked absolutely amazing. He came to drop some amazing gems. He preached the entire sermon, and I think that's why the BET Awards probably didn't finish, was because of his sermon. But he deserved his moment. If he had never gotten one, we was all ears and eyes.
It was his.
What did you think?
Yeah, it was his first. Well, he had probably dreamed of being given that honor. Okay. He believed that he should have been given that honor. He made that clear in a nice way. But as he walked you through his journey of how he became what he became as a legend, for him to just stand there and take it all in for just a moment, the adoration of the fans and the audience and the other artists with whom he probably worked with, a lot of them. I mean, you just saw him get filled. And, you know, he's the rah-rah guy. You know, he's usually the intense rah-rah. And he just appeared to be so humbled in that moment. Then he was like, I don't want to cry. But then he let it out. He let the floodgates come. It was one of the most, if not the most, touching receptions of fan love that you'll probably ever see from such a gentle giant. It's just so many things I could say about Busta, and I can understand why a lot of artists are endeared to him, because he told you when he hugs someone or tells them that he loves them, like he means it from the depths of his soul, because that's an intense brother. He's not only an intense performer, but his spirit is intense. I can only imagine what it's like to be in person in his presence. He's so talented, and I've seen many of his interviews as well. I just follow his interviews because he has a lot to say, and he's a storyteller, and he's very interesting. So I have to say, yes. I watched it twice. I cried twice. He always moved me anyway, but he definitely caught me. He caught me on that one. So I'm happy for him immensely.
There was a lot of heart-touching moments for that night, despite the other stuff. But another thing that I saw tribute-wise paid to, other than Tina Turner, which we're about to get into, is the tribute that they gave for Takeoff. Yeah. And I instantly I couldn't get emotional, but I thought that it was very thoughtful to see them all three of them together still in a sense.
We were rooting for them to get it together and come back together and repair whatever pain, and grief is going on. And I was just so happy to see, and I ain't gonna lie now, because I like to observe human behavior. That's just my thing. It was still a little awkward, but I will give them credit for trying really hard to do what was right. And what was right is to pay tribute to their loved one who is no longer with them. And that they stepped above their egos and pride and whatever the conflict was to do that. And so I have to give them credit, and I know it was hard and difficult and all of that, but I was glad, and maybe this will ignite the healing process for them.
I agree. So Patti LaBelle butchering the Tina Turner tribute deeply. Was it simply the best for you or simply the worst? And this has nothing to do with our love for Patti pies, Patti contributions, Patti history, or anything, because I'm a Patti fan down. But do I think that should she have been chosen to do this tribute? Probably not. I just think that was her seat at the table.
Patti, you are my friend to the end, okay? But Patti, now, I don't want you to, Patti, now, I love you, Patti, now, but, Patti, I'm gonna need you, Patti, I don't know what happened, because I wasn't there, and I don't know about the teleprompter, I was not there, but one thing I do know for sure is that we need to be mindful of our key, always. And if we don't know the song, we need to learn it, because Aretha Franklin taught us that, Suge. And with all my heart, I love you and have been a fan for so long, I can't even remember. But listen here. And I know that you were trying to, say some things when you lost the words for the things and the such. But girl, please, I don't know what you could have done to recover. It was just a horrible hiccup of a moment that you had. We know everybody, I heard people on the radio and stuff say, oh, well, she's such and so years old. And no, she is of sound mind and body, let's be clear. But she just didn't know that song. She did not execute well. She knows it. We don't have to belabor it. She knows she was a hot mess. Okay, maybe she needed to take her shoes off and sing it. I don't really know what she needed to do, but it was too much.
I think she needed to take her lashes off because they was a bit thick for a 70-year-old something woman. You
don't need this, Patti. You don't need this right here.
She had the windshield wipers on. And also, I heard allegedly from a guest that was at the BET Awards who was in the section where the teleprompter was, that the reason why Patti LaBelle couldn't see the teleprompter is because her section was standing up in front of the teleprompter.
I'm going to give her that. But I'm not going to give her that, okay? Because as an artist who's prepared, I don't care what the teleprompter say. If you know the song, and you have it in your head, the teleprompter don't matter. And if you don't have the teleprompter and your head don't give it to you, you need to have it written on your hand or something. You better do something if you know that wasn't one of Tina's one of the songs that you remember most that Tina would have sung. Or let's go here, BET. Why did you give her that song? Why did you give her that song? It's so many others, honey, that you could have done that the crowd would have even sung with you. And here y'all go with this song that we know is simply the best. All we know is the chorus, honey. We don't know the words, all the first stanzas and all of that. All we know is simply the best. Better than all the rest, better than everyone, and then we stop. Period.
Listen, I think what she should have said was, of course I don't know the song, because I didn't write it. And it made me think about the scene of where, Tina checked Ike for her lyrics. Now, unfortunately, what happened after that, I didn't like, but it was just that moment for me. I felt like, dang, Tina is somewhere probably laughing and say, no, ma'am. And she looked great, but she was just simply not the business this night. And in fact, we probably want to suspend her legendary belt from her for about 5 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, because that I'm gonna tell you, she would. It's just one of them things. You just do this right here and just go and you just have to just push your way through this painful moment of watching someone have a blunder, on stage, and it can happen. And we love her so much. Of course, we forgive her for that. We give her grace for that. And she tried to recover from that. But the song was the wrong song. It was the wrong person singing it. And they need to stop it. Don't do that again, BET. You set her up for failure. Don't do that to our Patty.
We think they're going to do better next year. I see the light over here is flashing, so that means that we have ran out of time, unfortunately. But I just want to say thank you for coming to hang out with me in the Hunna house. And we would just generally, I just want to say congratulations to all the winners, even though we didn't get to see them all on TV. I did go look up the final list of everybody that was given an award on BET for other categories that didn't get to make it to the program. But for as far as you, I just want to say thank you for coming to the show. I know I'm going to have you back on the Sessions with Hunna podcast, so no worries. I think you are definitely the person to recap events.
Well, I look forward to it. I thank you for the invite. This was great. Night Owls united again in collabo, and it was just so much fun for me. Thank you for allowing me to pretend that we have a platform on some major network and we are blowing it up and people are liking and loving and following and subscribing and everything else. So yeah, thank you so much. As far as I'll be attaching this video to my channel, which is Pamela Jordan Boss Up Marketing. It's where I just put a marketing spin and business spin on things that I see in pop culture. That's really what it is. So check me out, do all the things with your computer to see the video later. And thank you so much. I love you. And true, hun. We'll do this again.
Thank you so much for coming on with me. And yes, I will definitely be doing this with you again. Thank you. This is the end of our program, you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good night.